So I represent UnLtd India. We are an incubator. We started with the vision of saying that there are lots of change makers in the economy and they don't find the right supportive ecosystem and hence they fail by the way. Our idea is to find, fund and support those entrepreneurs. We provide very small stipend kind of funding, but more importantly a year up to 4 years of incubation support. The idea is that with mentoring, creating a supportive ecosystem within the cohorts itself, which they take a lot of leverage of, and to provide them connections to mentors, funders, providing them a way forward. Actually, more importantly than anything, I think it's the moral support. The life of an entrepreneur is very, very lonely. It's a very lonely journey. Can they call you in the middle of the night and say, hey, I'm shutting shop? Yes, they can. Can we guide them through what is the challenges, what are the problems, and how can we support them through that phase, right? And more importantly, like somebody in the panel today was saying, people get married to their solution. Can we look at helping them? Is the solution to the problem they wanted to address? Many times they start with a problem, they end up with a very different solution. So I think it's a very comprehensive support package that we're looking at, which would be looking at providing that moral support, technical support, connections, which would hopefully take them to scale. So till now we've supported 200 social entrepreneurs, and it's really heartening to see almost 88% of them are continuing to do what they started with. Some have scaled, some haven't, but they continue to do what they do, which in itself is a very big feat for us. And we work with for-profits, not-for-profits, because we believe solution changes will come from both. Flagship initiative is incubation. That's our only initiative. We started 10 years back when there were no incubators. We were one of the first ones. Will Grow, UnLtd India were one of the first few incubators that started. And that is our only flagship initiative. We are very entrepreneur-centric, and our focus of our organization is to provide that support and to make your change maker. So there is nothing else which is more flagship than that. So there are two things to here. One is the incubation ecosystem itself. That has evolved extensively. It's now the buzzword. You have for-profit, not-for-profit social incubators. There are more for-profit incubators which provide seed capital and mentoring. But the not-for-profit, and I'm happy for that, is also evolving, because otherwise you didn't have anybody supporting the not-for-profits. So that in itself is evolving. With that and the CSR bill accepting incubators as one of the categories of grantees, that has developed very fast. So I'm actually very happy to see that CSRs are coming on board. It's been a difficult transition. When you first speak to a CSR, it's the non-conforming way of supporting entrepreneurs, right? It's not understood, it's not there, but there are transitions. So two people in my panel, I met them first time. They're both CSR heads and they're both supporting incubators. It's a new journey for both of them, but I see it opening up completely. So it is heartening, but it's still very small numbers. It's still a long trek to conversion. Currently, incubators were more supported and understood by international donors. Indian CSRs are coming around, and there's some path breakers, and I hope the word will spread. But it's still a long ways to go. I think there are very few marketplaces for CSRs, entrepreneurs, stakeholders to come together. So I think you need more forums like this. And it's hence in itself a big initiative. I've seen the kind of number of people working around the clock to get this going. So I think it's helpful, because it's just a place to meet, right? Otherwise I would have never met First Capital and Emphasis if it hadn't been for this forum. But I think the only differences I would encourage is creating some kind of more meeting places, rather than just if I'm on a panel, people will know about me and they'll come and speak to me. But how do I find the other speakers? How do I find the other CSRs? How do I find the other stakeholders? Can we engage in a bit more of a marketplace dynamic? That'll add to it, right? So I think it's great. I think it's there. Can we just notch it up? That'll be good.